See. Ooh, this is going to be exciting. I like a little corporate piracy. But you know what we'll do for the fans, though? We'll do this.
This is True OF Entertainment.
Welcome to the Lost Dollar Business Club, where we talk about business, and not just business. We talk about what makes businesses go up and what makes businesses go down. If you're interested in businesses, this is where it is. We talk about the global economy. We talk about global politics. We talk about everything and anything business related that affects your life on a global scale as well as a local scale. And don't miss after the show, Lost and Found. We're back, kids. Wow. We're live. We're live. So to all the fan, hello. So there you go.
One of you. Yes.
All one of you that watch our show. Actually, I will say we joke about it.
No, we're doing pretty good.
Because we're on many different platforms, and YouTube is only one of the platforms.
Right.
And when you look at our YouTube numbers, it's like unimpressive. But when we look at like our podcasts, and we look at the other platforms that we put this on, we really kick butt. It's just YouTube. We're too sophisticated for it. We should be on like HBO. We should be on right after Bill Maher's show. But yeah, so
YouTube loves our shorts, though. YouTube loves our shorts.
We get like millions of views every month on shorts. But the shows, every other place we post them do really well. But anyway,
it's winter. It's winter on YouTube, so you can't wear shorts. So,
oh no, definitely. Well, it's definitely winter here. But I'm calling in from Phoenix, Arizona, for I'm on a business trip, and I'll tell you, the weather's nice. The weather's nice.
All right, as long as the weather's nice.
Listen, next week, before we start the show, next week, remember that we have Morris Pearl from the Patriotic Millionaires, who is going to talk with us about the oligarchy that is the United States today. And how
runs the country.
If you too are a millionaire, you can be a patriotic millionaire and help turn the tide in the other direction on behalf of the people.
Yeah, well, so being a billionaire, let me just say this for the people.
Yeah, right.
Okay, there you have it. So, no, and we've talked about this, and we talk about this on a lot of the shows. The problem with the oligarchs today is they are not old money; they're nouveau riche. And the problem with the nouveau riche is it's all about me, and how many commas I can add to my net worth. Where the old money is quietly, they make contributions, they help homeless, they help whether it's dogs, people,
they help
whatever.
People. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And
you don't know how they were when they first had money.
No, they've always been like that.
Is your argument then that rich people mature like cheese? Is that what you're trying? Is that your argument?
There's a difference between old money and stupid. Stupid is what we have today. Those are all the oligarchs today that were sucking on at the inauguration with Trump. That's what you have. You have stupid nouveau riche. Old money, quiet money that you'll never know, does things that you'll never know, because what they realize is if they don't help people, and I've said this on other shows, you have 360 million people in America, 30 million of them do well. Right? They don't worry about bills. They don't worry about anything. The other 300, let's say 300 plus million do. And when 300 plus million people decide to take a picnic, I don't care what orange person's in the White House. I don't care what oligarch thinks they're in charge. You're going to have a civil war. And that will be a problem because the people in America may be fat, stupid, and lazy, but they didn't sign up to be poorer. And what's happening right now is they're getting poorer. And Trump cut these services. Now, our hearts go out to the people who lost family in the airline crash here in Reagan National. But you can't blame the past administration. It's not DEI. It's not this. It's like, listen, if you're going to sign mandates to cut this and stop this and do this and yada 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 and hurt Social Security and hurt a veteran, you have to man up and go, I fucked up. They're not doing that. They're blaming everybody. It's like the joke I told about the Russian premier, right? The first letter is you blame me. The second letter is write your second letter, right? Remember the joke? All right, okay. Trump's now doing I'm blaming Joe Biden. I'm blaming the Democrats. I'm blaming this. I'm blaming that.
He's only got one letter for that.
Okay, you've used the letter. The second letter is start writing 2 letters. And the people that know the joke, if you want it, tell us and we'll do it next week. But
Well, it's be
that's kind of
interesting, you know, because with whether or not the air traffic controllers would have been any better, because Trump tried to nationalize them. He wanted to privatize them. He wanted them to be, you know, a company all on its own. Would that have been any better? Who knows?
Well, it's a big question. It's a huge tragedy. It's a big question, and you know, could you talk about it as, you know, poor funding, lack of training? I mean, it has yet to
Yeah,
be
but
seen.
I don't know if it's a lack of training. I know the articles that I've read, and I'm not there, said that there was 1 controller instead of 2. And everybody has shown the video. The New York Times, the Financial Times, everybody has shown the video of the airplane crash. I can see the helicopter. I can also see the airplane. I'm thinking to myself, the helicopter pilot, what were you doing that you didn't see this plane in front of you? You can't miss it. It's lit up like a Christmas tree. So, and like, and you know you're at one of the busiest airports in the nation, and you fly this like, there's something that's just not making sense. Like, why?
Okay, all right. Well,
It doesn't add up to me. Now, listen, I'm not blaming anything. I don't know the training a controller goes through. I don't know the training that the pilot went through. I know nothing. I'm just saying I saw the video. Makes no sense to me. My heart goes out to the families.
It's tragic.
Who lost the military families as well as the civil families that lost their family members. I think that's a terrible thing. And you know, unfortunately,
what's interesting is the public outcry around suspicion around it being some sort of conspiracy.
Really, I haven't heard that.
It's
going on? Yeah, right. Exactly.
An act of terrorism. Yeah.
You've got the Economic Times, the Daily Mail, of course, the Daily Mail, the New Republic, you know, Newsweek, you know, talking about
all the quality newspapers.
Yeah.
All
you
of
know
it.
why?
That's right.
Here, in my opinion, here's why we say it's a conspiracy, because it sells newspapers.
That's right.
It sells subscriptions and whatever. The Financial Times just said this is what happened. The New York Times and Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal, like real newspapers, so to speak.
But
also
big
hoo-ha, even the Guardian.
Guardian's communist bastards. They don't know anything. So.
Yeah, but a big hoo-ha about the fact that he was doing 2 jobs, but it would appear that that's become the norm, because as a lot of people are off sick and they have to, got staff shortages anyway.
Right.
So, and all of a sudden, they want to somebody wants to crucify somebody. But maybe the black boxes will say something.
That would be nice.
They've been dug out. So
I'm just like I said, no matter what it was, whether it was intentional, non-intentional, it was an accident, it was a UFO, it was whatever. Yeah. Our hearts go out to the families, because that's just a tragic. That's just a tragic event in general. So it makes no difference what it was. It's just terrible that it happened.
Well, the FAA is investigating it. So
no, the NTCB or whatever they're called. The FAA doesn't do anything. They just have guys in towers that land and take off planes. It's the national.
Well, they did say something about that. They're the ones who made that report about the staffing levels, though, saying it was not normal.
Big deal. Staffing level. Great, dude. Fix
it. What is normal? Yeah, right.
Yeah, fix it. I mean, when Reagan fired, I had a friend of mine who was an air traffic controller, and his big joke was, I got fired by the president of the United States, and he kept the letter. Because remember when Reagan fired all the air traffic controllers when they went on strike?
Yeah, long time ago.
The letter that he got from Reagan, because they all got a form letter. He kept it and framed it. And he did something else after, but he said, I got fired by the president of the United States. And remember, they brought the military air traffic controllers in to run the towers until they could restock up. Well, if we're having such a problem, I don't want to be rude or anything, but we do have these military guys, and they are air traffic controllers. And I'm assuming that we've got an abundance. If you're so understaffed, let them do it to bring up.
They're busy. They're busy trying to build a wall.
Okay, never mind then. I forgot. So,
busy fixing flights to take away undesirable people too.
Oh my God!
Oh boy, yeah.
There we go.
Well, look, speaking of undesirable people, what's happening with DeepSeek and the new AI that is in the town? On the street.
Well, I was going to do something undesirable first. I was actually going to run a little advert. I think we've got two to run in the show. Is that
We've
right?
got two today. We've got two today.
All right.
All right.
Well, let's run the adverts before we start getting into this, because then we're not going to want to stop.
Yeah, we don't want to stop on DeepSeek.
Here we go.
Anytime you want.
Get the freedom and the flexibility of remote work in the lucrative tech industry. Bend your life around the world. Bandicoot is the premier course and community for thriving in a remote tech career. Join the revolution today. Bandicoot.com, official partner of the Lost Dollar Business Club.
That was one.
That's one. Yeah. Do we
That's
have
one.
another one?
With the new HBN 3-outlet sensing countdown timer with remote control, you can set your whole house up to look like Christmas 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The timer comes with a 2, 4, 6, and 8 hour countdown function. The outlets can be easily operated by hand or by a remote control with the dusk to dawn on and off switch. And they come with 3, 2, and 1 outlet accessories. We use them here at 2OF Entertainment. Here you go. There's what it looks like. There's the on and off switch.
Okay, that looks compact.
Listen, and this is the box it comes in. This is the one if you have like 47 outlets that you want to use. And they've got a 2-1 and a 1-1. They've sent me so many of them now. The whole house is wired. So it's like clap on, clap off right now. So we just walk in and out of the house.
Yeah. Well, okay. We could do that. With DeepSeek,
Yeah.
I was curious about, because you guys are big in the finance world, and those stocks have dropped. Those stocks have dropped as a result of these.
Bursted.
Is that just is okay? So that's what we're getting at. Is that a bubble meant to be burst, or does DeepSeek actually have some ground to gain?
If you company like Nivea that is 25 times earnings, like for next year, right? That puts them up, and between all that, they all a couple of days ago lost what, 1.3 trillion. They still make believe money. At the end of the day, I don't really. Wall Street just comes up like, how are we going to make more money? Let's just do 50 times earnings. I mean, it's all mental masturbation. It's all bullshit. If you really want to look at a company, how much money did you make? How are your expenses? What did you net? That's what you're worth. Really, at the end of it, that's it, right? Plus whatever your patents are. But we have to, on Wall Street, figure out how to get the suckers, the public, to play our game and be on exchanges with us. And that's how you do it. What it's also showing us, Alibaba says that their AI is faster and more intelligent than DeepSeek, which is fascinating. And I've seen Alibaba's, and I tend to believe it. We've interviewed Hero AI. You have DeepSeek,
Yes, we have.
and here's what's phenomenally stupid about Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, the little Japanese guy from SoftBank, mushy Japanese sushi guy. That's his name, by the way, in real Japanese. Here's the problem I have with all of them. And I wrote an article yesterday and I published it on LinkedIn and in the Financial Times. You can't fix stupid. Alibaba, DeepSeek, Hero. Hero has spent under $3 million, and they're more advanced in quantum. They're more advanced in AI than Apple, Meta, Facebook, whatever the hell they're called, Sam Altman's. They're more advanced for less money. DeepSeek, same thing. Now, I don't care where you got your chip from. Who cares? More advanced. Alibaba is Alibaba, and they spent all these three companies are more advanced for less. You can't fix stupid. Yesterday, Zuckerberg says, I'm going to spend the hundreds of billions of dollars to be number one in AI. You're a moron, Zuckerberg.
Well, only 65 billion.
He's too late. He's too late.
He's still a moron. And here's why, in my opinion. And I don't care how much money you're worth. You're just
don't take the controversial opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's why. Because you guys have your heads up your asses. You think you're gods or oligarch, and you're not. You're dumber than a box of rocks. There's 30 little AI companies we work with, Hero being one of them in the general AI, and we work with different medical ones that are smarter, more mobile, have better patents, have smarter people that people have never really heard of, but they're the ones who invented it all. That these guys, they're not big, they're nobody. No, you're actually nobody. You just have money to piss away. Where they're small and nimble and they can turn on a dime and fix things, you have to go through committee. And
well, they did say that. They did say that DeepSeek's advantage is that actually it is optimized better than just companies that are saying we're just going to put more compute power into the model. We're actually going to optimize it so that it works better.
But then think about it.
I read a report yesterday, and there's some students at MIT. In Berkeley in California. They've been using the DeepSeek, and they managed to make a better version of it. And they said it cost them $30.
Wow.
But here's the problem, though. We're talking about more.
It's a victory for open source, isn't it? An open source model. So
it is an open source.
Here's the other issue.
That's why I don't understand why they're all crying. Oh, they've taken all our data.
Because David, it takes their the illusion that you have to be these morons that are idiots worth trillions of dollars to do it. I'm gonna look at Hero, because you guys have interviewed Hero. We haven't interviewed DeepSeek or Alibaba, and we'll ask them to come on. If they come on, that's great.
Yeah.
Hey, send them an email if they come on. Great. Here's the thing. Hero has a chip that's faster than Nivea's chip by 33 times and uses 1,000th less power. And all the articles this week were all about you need power, you need this, you need that. Hey, idiots. Here's a company. When the company goes and talks to venture capitalists or Meta, or this, like, oh, you're nobody. You don't know what you're doing. Okay, well, our shit actually works, and you're the one throwing billions of dollars at stuff that by the time you catch up, the Chinese will be ahead of us. SoftBank's going to get Sam Altman 25 million. There's a company. Once again, throwing bad money after more bad money isn't going to make you better. These companies now have become too big, unnimble. That's why IBM isn't a leader anymore. Microsoft is not a leader anymore. Meta is just a joke.
You think that OpenAI in just such a short period of time has already become too big to become nimble?
I think they're obsolete already.
Yeah.
I think OpenAI is obsolete.
I think the people that are laughing most at what's just happened is Apple, because they chose not to build their own AI, and so they're just waiting around now to see who's going to give us the best gig. You know,
well, that's not really true, Dave. They did build their AI, and it was wrong, horribly wrong.
Yeah, they moved away from it. They moved away from it. Said, we'll wait and see.
They're quietly looking. They're quietly looking.
Who's going to give us the best stuff?
Right. Well, they're quietly looking to see who they can integrate into their platform. That's what they're doing. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to say on a broader picture, I know for a fact several large telcos that are talking to Euro, and they're going to integrate Euro into their telco because how advanced it is. So it goes back to my thing. Just because your company is worth 70 trillion billion stupid dollars and you have your head up your ass makes no difference, because a little company, if you remember, Facebook at one point was a little company. Microsoft is the one who dethroned IBM. All these little companies, and these guys forgot that when they were quick and nimble and they weren't with their heads up their asses and they were hungry and they were trying to develop and be good for themselves. Now they're just like what IBM used to be, like Xerox used to be like, and all the General Motors, all these companies that are dying, they're dying. These little companies that no one's ever heard of in the next, I would say 12 to 18 months are going to surpass them all because they're quick and nimble. And then the question is for the little companies, can they stay quick and nimble? Like the guy with the guys who with the medical AI, all those companies are quick and nimble.
The founder of DeepSeek, which is, his name is Liang Wenfen, he said, what? He said, look, in the past 30 years, China's tech industry has only emphasized making money and ignored innovation.
Right.
But he says innovation is not solely driven by business. It also needs curiosity and a desire to create. And it was with that attitude that he was saying he wanted to take all of their models open source. He was going to fully work with the open source community. Mm-hmm. And he talked about this idea of open source being a cultural practice rather than a business practice, which is interesting that now this open source model has made such leaps and bounds over everything else that was closed source,
right?
Like OpenAI.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the stuff was there, I think they just left the door open for a lot of stuff, and they're all bitching about, oh yeah, they stole all our data. But
Yeah, that's an
hello,
interesting one.
where did you get the data from in the first place, guys? You
Hey,
were
they stole
out
it
there
from
busy.
us.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
you're not supposed to. I mean, you're not supposed to train your model on somebody else's model. Which
Why not?
yeah, why not? Right?
Why not? Who cares?
DeepSeek,
It's the same stuff.
DeepSeek is based on also on the Lima model. That's all with all that stuff that came from Meta. So yeah, like I say,
remember,
they
Alibaba has a better model and a faster model, which is interesting that they have out. So a lot of what's going on, this is like, how do I put it? We're the people, these companies in America, and with $1 trillion loss in the stock and blah, blah, it's like they're crying over spilled milk. Do you know why? Because you're not number one anymore, kids. I hate to tell you this. There's a little guy with a Chinese guy with a Jewish name, and he's number one. And that's the problem, is because Americans don't know what to do when they're not number one anymore. And that's what's happening.
They do. They have a chair behind Donald Trump at his inauguration.
Yeah, but Donnie's not going to help the AI companies unless you would have
well, because it's not about, because it's about real talent and real innovation.
Correct.
And DeepSeek's
So what about Stargate then? Was it Stargate?
That was a great television show.
No, but that's not. Right. But that's not. Saying that you're going to spend $500 billion on compute power is not innovation. Right. That's not innovation.
That's your head up your ass. That's your head up your ass throwing bad money after more bad money.
Yeah.
And these guys, once again, like the article that I wrote yesterday says, full stop, you guys got to get your head out of your ass, and you got to start talking to the smaller, nimbler companies that are smarter, better, quicker than you, have more patents than you, and know what they're doing. I read the quote from the Meta chief technology guy, and I'm like, what an idiot. Like, he was like, oh, you're dumber than a box of rocks, pal. Like, none of these companies.
Yeah, but they don't want success, do they? There's like all the oil companies. All the oil companies don't want, sustainable products. They're environmentally.
Well,
they just want
that. That's a scam.
Because everything's the same. You think, okay, we're making money, so why should we help somebody who is eventually like IBM, or Intel or whatever? They're just going to turn us into dinosaurs. They have no incentive to do that. Well, and the shareholders are probably saying, "Don't encourage them."
That's the wrong thinking. If I'm Apple,
well, I agree,
Stephen. And these other telcos that are, we know what's going on. I sit on the board of enough companies, and these telcos that are talking, or hospital systems that are talking to the AI companies that we do stuff with, they realize that if they don't use these small, quick, nimble companies to get them surpassing these big behemoths, they will die. So what they're doing now is they're like, okay, let's go talk to the small guys. Oh, we can do a deal with them, and then they can white label it, do whatever they want. But at the end of the day, now they have technology nobody else has. They can do things nobody can do on a phone and a satellite, whatever it is. So now what ends up happening is a mid-tier company that's kind of a player but not yet a player now becomes a player. And how? Because they were smart enough to talk to a little company that no one ever heard of, whether it's a tech company, an AI, a health company, or whatever. All these companies are doing. When I read what these guys are doing and how much money they spend, I'm like, you're dumber than a box of rocks, because you are developing nothing. The American public, go back to what I said, unfortunately, is stupid, has no clue. And because they have no clue, they're like, oh, goody, we're going to spend $500 billion. Fuck you. You're not spending jack shit. You don't have $500 billion, first of all. Larry Ellis doesn't have it.
That was an aspirational. That was an aspirational comment.
Bullshit.
And remember what Microsoft said. Satya Nadella said, "I'm good for my 85 billion." So
they don't have 85 billion either.
They're all making their contribution, and 500 billion is not.
Guys, do you think that the saving grace of all of this is the fact that eventually someone will play the don't trust all those Chinese with all your data? So keep it.
They already
already done that, David.
I totally agree, but there's a whole load of but on personal data, that's all long gone.
I wouldn't trust the U.S. with our data. Why would you trust Meta with your data, or why would you trust any of these people with your data? It's your data. They should pay for it.
because they're American, Stephen.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Oh yeah, nobody believes that.
Yeah, nobody cares.
no,
About
don't,
it.
don't you? Don't you?
That you should
Don't
trust.
you
That you
believe
should
that?
trust.
Isn't that's already been pitched
I
here
don't
in
think anybody
Europe?
trusts Meta.
That it's a
No.
great idea. All this stuff is great individually, but there's a warning that comes from it. Oh, be careful if you're a company, because you don't know what they're doing with your data. But if you have it on a European data centers, which in fact have more control over than they do, even do in the US,
Even
then
though
your
the
data is
Chinese
safe. Because
have hacked
let's say
all
let's
the
have this
stuff.
brand new product, and I put it into DeepSeek, and I wanted to do all my promo and everything for my release, etc., and a reasonable amount of intellectual property that I have to put in that in order to sell it to the world.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we know what the Chinese are very good at.
Oh, these guys have nothing to sell. DeepSeek has nothing to sell now. Their whole goal is to create artificial general intelligence in an open source environment.
Yeah, but that's not the argument that's being put forward.
They're getting there. That's an admirable goal. And
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Michael. But the argument is, this is all great, all this AI, but we should wait for Uncle Sam to wake up, so at least we have a safe place to put all our data.
Yeah, it's bull. That's bull.
That's
a bunch of crap.
I would tend to agree, but that's the argument that's been put forward, certainly in Europe. Oh, be careful if you're using all these products, all these AI services, etc.
Well, that's true. Yeah, but it's a little late. You know, the horse is out of the barn.
We've been saying that now for what, 2 years? It's like, listen, kids, they were like, oh, you got to do it's done. AI, listen, when AI overlords take over in 2030, it is what it is.
Right.
But there's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't matter who runs the AI, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini from Google or this one. It's all a bunch of BS. They're all scraping your data. They're all looking for stuff. They're all doing that. So it makes no difference who you use, whether it's US, European, Chinese, Plutonian, lizard people. Makes no difference. They're all scraping stuff to try to figure out how they can be better. The problem is that they can't, because all they're doing is pissing away money, throwing more money after more money, and they can't compete because they become dinosaurs. And
yeah, but that's the justification now. That's what I'm saying. The justification of why these companies exist, OpenAI or Meta or Microsoft, whoever, is, or AWS, is because they're okay. For want of a better word, they're all kosher, and they're all Western European, so we can understand them. But don't be putting your data and giving it away to some Chinese company because What was the show you were on a couple of weeks ago, Michael, that your car is listening to you? There's all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Corey.
There's all this. Yeah. So you would buy an American car or a European car because that's fine, because that's all right if they listen to you. But it's not. It's different if you don't want a Chinese car to listen to you. And all this rhetoric is a way of helping, like Stephen was saying, of bolstering up these companies. To make us also, it's okay that you're a multi-trillionaire, because you're looking after my data, you're looking after me, and those naughty Chinese people, I'm not going to get it. But it would appear that that's an argument which a lot of businesses are saying, okay, yeah, that's good practice, but the consumer, the boys and the girls, they don't give a monkeys. They all jumped onto Redbook when they thought TikTok was going tits up. So, yeah, I mean, like Stephen says, it is all too late. I mean, I was having this conversation with my kids, 15, 20 years ago, when Facebook started up. Saying, they should be paying me for all the stuff that I give them.
Well, that's going to be a big debate. That's a big debate.
And my point, that's going to be the new thing. If you, Mr. Trump, we know you watch the show because you guys send us letters on that you don't like, and nor do we care. Why don't you get all these tech companies to pay us for our data? Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
And you want to help America out? There you go. Help America. You
Yeah.
want to stimulate the
Yeah,
economy?
All these kids would pay off all their college debts in within a year.
In about a day. Yeah.
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 So
I think.
So one of the other questions with DeepSeek though is, did they really only use 2,000 of these chips and really only spend under $6 million to actually train this thing? We
can only assume that they were being honest when they told us, Michael. Surely. What? We can only assume that they were being honest when they were telling us.
Right.
Well, that's the
reality. We don't know.
But the rhetoric out of the US is that they're lying to us. Be careful. They've stolen this stuff.
It was quoted in Wired too.
Listen, at the end of the day, guys, I believe nothing in print, even the Financial Times all the shit that we read. It's a knowledge thing, and then you have to draw your own conclusion. What I do know is that DeepSeek came out and it helped the market lose $1.3 trillion because everybody got scared. Everybody realized you can do it for
a lot of money.
And then the other nice thing was it now, for like to the littler AI companies that are out there that are doing better than Meta, better than Sam Altman's company, better than SoftBank, but they're too stupid once again because they have their head up their asses to look at them. Now Apple, I think, is starting to look at the littler companies going, wait a second, just companies out there doing stuff with other satellite companies and telcos, and they can actually do. And I know, like I said, I sit on the board of several. I know what they're doing. I see their contracts. And that's what I'm saying. I know the companies you're dealing with. What's going to end up happening is in 12 to 18 months, the little company you've never heard of, that it's an AI company, will probably still be another company you've never heard of, but they'll be worth billions. And the telcos and satellite companies they're working with will be now the player. Like they'll be the players because they're going to have this technology. If you like how they get this
because they have the infrastructure to do it, I guess.
Well, the littler companies have it. Apple has it. If Apple called one of the companies that we sit on the board of tomorrow and go, we want to work with you, they could on a dime work with Apple, let's say, and within 6 to 12 months have that technology in the new phone that's coming out next year, so to speak, and Apple would be ahead of everybody. And that would be meaning ahead of DeepSeek, Alibaba, the list goes on. But once again, if you have your head up your butt and you think because you can just throw money at it, throwing money at a problem doesn't fix the problem. You have to throw brain power, and it's nice that you think you have some of the smartest people in the world, but I've met these people, these littler companies, they're smarter than the smartest person at any of these companies. And I'm like, wow.
So then when do they get acquired? When do they go?
They don't have to get acquired. No, all the companies we see on the board, they're for profit. Like that, I don't do free. You know me, Michael. Free doesn't work. They're here to make money, but their technology, depending on how somebody wants to source it, that's up to them then after whether they're leasing it or partnering with them, how they want to let it go, that's up to them.
Back to the renters again.
Well, that's fine. But Apple isn't going to be altruistic and do it for free. So you buy the phone, it's in there. That's how Apple's going to make, like, look at our phone. Our phone does better than XYZ. Now a satellite company goes, yeah, but if you work on this network, this is what we do. You can use any phone. Now all of a sudden you're better than Apple. And that's what I think the race is going to be down the road. And that's the companies we sit on the boards of and invested in, that we see the technology, whether it's medical, phone, different tech, that I'm fascinated by, because they're not so much worried about the Apples of the world. They're like, we can do bigger. And I'm like, really? And the bigger is what's fascinating. And like they said, the bigger will make them trillion-dollar companies, and whatever China does won't affect them either way, because at some point China's gonna be like, oh, that's a good idea, we should do that. So it's a whole process here. And I like I said, Zuckerberg's statement yesterday is just like, you can't fix stupid. I'm sorry. That's it. I'm just like, they're dumb as dumb. So that's all.
Well, there you have it.
There you have
it. We are critics. We are critics of the big players in AI, and now I agree. I'm not surprised that a small, nimble company like DeepSeek is actually creating an optimized system that is able to usurp OpenAI's closed source for-profit model. So maybe this is the ironically, coming out of China, the democratization artificial general intelligence. I mean,
Ooh, cool.
maybe, if this actually works and they actually achieve AGI, it would be in an open source model, which would open it to the entire world.
And then the AI could take over the world and we'll just be slaves to the robots like in the Terminator. Oh, I'm so excited. By 2030, we'll all be dead.
Who's gonna? Yes, well, somebody's gonna do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
well, we already
somebody
were.
was explaining that to me yesterday, and I'd never heard it before. It's called the Jevons paradox.
Okay.
And what that basically means is that the paradox is that the cheaper the products become, I mean, like price goes virtually to the bottom,
Zero.
Right.
Yeah.
as opposed to people putting that savings into their pocket. What they actually do is they spend more money on the same product.
That sounds
So-
like shrinkflation.
Yeah, but it's. I've said it before on the show. The Dutch have a wonderful expression for it called the kassa is the massa, which means that all the money comes from all masses of people,
Right.
small amounts from masses of people, and that's what will happen with the AI. All the price will be pushed down and down and down and down and down.
Yeah. Well, it's
And we just
out
see
there
how
now.
much
Yeah.
how much of the big American, the Magnificent Seven, how much they can stomach that as all the prices get pushed down.
yeah.
I think
see.
you're going to see Meta, Facebook, whatever the hell they're called, Sam Altman's company, SoftBank. They're not a player really anymore. They after the WeWork, they're just a joke. They just happen to have some money left. And some of these other guys, I think you're going to see them all become obsolete in the next 24 to 36 months because you're going to start seeing smaller players come in the market. Apple won't be as obsolete because we all use Apple phones and Apple computers, and so there's an
Yeah, they
infrastructure
just
there.
had a record
I know.
2.35 billion devices,
I saw that.
active
But
devices.
here's
But
the
then I
thing,
read
though.
somewhere that they were going to tie up with Starlink as well. I read that.
Yeah,
during
they're
the week.
thinking
Yeah.
about putting Starlink in an Apple phone, but I don't think that's a win. I mean, I mean, you have to be a fan of Musk then, and so that's not a win. And Apple has a satellite already in their phone, so if you're in the middle of a desert and you can do an SOS message, so
I
yeah,
saw that.
yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why they need to
Interesting.
tie up with Starlink. What? Because Musk needs to make another whatever. So yeah, I don't know if
Well,
that's the
maybe Tim
smartest
Cook
move in the
sat
world.
next to him at the inauguration.
They
They're
touched
all
knees. They were like, ooh.
BFFs.
Yeah.
So
No,
who
like I
knows?
said, I think a lot of these companies are getting too big and too stupid. They have their heads up their tuchuses.
They're
and you're gonna
already, but
start
that's
seeing
the thing.
design.
These are relatively brand new companies. They're already too big and already too stupid.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's some companies that are big but they always are nimble and they're always quick and they always do and they always think and they're always on the forefront of like, hey, we got to do this to make it better and blah 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 blah. But they're getting to a point like Apple's just like, as I watched an analyst say, remember when the phone first came out, it was $500. Now these phones, their new iPhones are like 1,000 plus. They're
Yeah.
just getting too big for their britches. It's the same with their laptop. It's like, there's going to be a point, once again, there's only 30 million people, maybe 60 in America that can afford anything, whenever
Yeah.
they want, blah, 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 blah. And the other
That's
300
the reason
million
why
have
Apple's
to
not so
save.
big. Not so big in Europe because the prices are horrendous.
Yeah, that's why they
And
use Samsung.
it's an elitist product.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank you. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
but my point of it is that, if you don't take into the consumer, from like X to Z, and they don't, this is what's going to happen. Smaller companies are going to come out with better products, and nobody cares that you're a behemoth. Like nobody cares anymore. Like Xiaomi, when they first came to the United States, everybody loved their product until they got kicked out, right? Because they had a better phone, they had a better this, they had a better that. They're like, oh no, it's Chinese, it's terrible, you can't use it. So they kicked Xiaomi out, but everybody was buying it. It's kind of like BYD. They make a better electric car than Tesla. They make a better electric car than Porsche. I won't say they make better than Rolls-Royce because comfort-wise, you're not going to beat a Rolls-Royce, but battery life, better car. So, if BYD ever came to the United States, Tesla would be like, I don't know what the worst selling brand is in America, probably, who knows, General Motors. So it would be like Tesla's going to go the way of that. It's just going to be kind of like, the Saturn company. No one remembers the Saturn car, right? Tesla will be Tesla, like a Tesla. What's that? So that's one of the reasons, I get what Trump's doing. Like, we need to keep this strong and keep these people out and blah, blah, blah. Right. But there's better stuff out there. So you want to sell us crap. I'd rather buy the better product. And if it's made in China, or if it's made in London, or if it's made in wherever, I don't care. I'd rather buy the better product. That means the American companies have to A, step up their game, and B, start figuring out how to get the consumer back. And if you don't do that because you have your head up your butt, then that's your problem. It's not my problem. My problem is
it's almost like a sort of boomerang economics, isn't it? Because you throw all the Chinese away, saying, "Oh, you're too expensive. It's this, it's that, and everything else." And they just go away and they adjust everything, put the prices down, they better everything, and then all of a sudden, boom, they come back, and then all the legacy companies are going, "Oh, yeah." So but it's okay. It's all right to charge $200 a month for ChatGPT because it's American, so that's fine. Yeah, seriously.
Well, I mean, you heard it here, America. Get your act together, figure this out.
Well, the new thing is make Europe great again. Huh? Don't miss out on that one, guys.
Is that new?
That's a whole new
First of all, there's a Europe. I thought Trump was taking. First of all, I know that we discussed on Vaguely True yesterday and Vaguely News that Trump is renaming South Africa, New South Africa of America, and the provinces are changing to states. I know that's happening because we said it on the internet, so it's true. I know we're invading Greenland because Greenland now is going to be part of the United States. Canada didn't have
Canada's
to become the 51st, to be the 51st state. So now tomorrow we're going to charge them, or today, if you're watching it recorded, charging them in Mexico 25% tariffs. And apparently we're going to take a Panama Canal back because the Hong Kong company there we don't like. So I thought pretty much in about 6 months, I won't need a passport because everything's going to be USA. So Europe isn't really going to be Europe, David. It's going to be part of the United States. You'll just be like the 53rd, the 56th, the 57th state. Yeah. So I won't need passports to travel anymore. So
that would simplify things, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there you go. So
you don't think that Mr. Trump's going to let you all out, do you? Without full body searches and.
I request those, by the way, at the airport when I go to TSA. And I've got the thing that the known traveler, so I get to go through. But I always say, I always ask for a full pat down. Excuse me, I need a full pat down, and they're like, and I request that I'm naked when they do it. So when I travel, I have a good time. So there you go. Now we have two choices, kids. We can go to Lost and Found and talk crypto there, or we can do crypto here. What do you think, Michael?
No, let's get into Lost and Found. We're at 42 minutes. We're doing pretty good.
David, you want to hit Lost and Found?
We can do Lost and Found. If I can find it. I've lost it.
Ever wonder how millions vanish into thin air, or how a single dollar can make all the difference? Join us on Lost and Found, where we dive into the wild world of financial mysteries. From misplaced fortunes to unexpected windfalls, we unravel the stories of people, companies, organizations, and even governments who've lost and found millions. Lost and Found, because every dollar has a story.
Ooh, every dollar has a story.
I'm going to change that to every dollar has a chair at the presidential inauguration. That's what I'm going to have to change.
I think so.
That'd be every few $1 billion. Yeah, that's what would be.
Truly,
you need a lot more than $1 to get those chairs.
Yeah, if you have your head up your butt and pay $1 million, you can go. So,
I mean, speaking about head up your butt, OpenAI has their head up the US's butt because they have released a ChatGPT Gov. So ChatGPT for the government.
Okay.
They announced it. What's that?
It's all been approved.
It's all been approved.
It's all American. It's all apple pie.
And they've announced, they did this on Thursday, which was yesterday, only a few days after the DeepSeek announcement. They announced deepening its ties with the U.S. government by connecting researchers with this version of ChatGPT that is a better way for the government to use ChatGPT. So
they got to call it apple pie. We'll call it apple pie from now on, because that's all, so American.
Apple pie.
Here's the best part: when the AI overlords finally take us over, And I
Yeah.
don't care whose robot, Musk's robot, Japanese
It'll
robot,
be
whatever,
somebody.
when they're downloading all this knowledge into these robots, and if I would, and I'm AI, I'm going to be like, these humans are just so stupid. This is going to be great.
They'll
I mean,
be
like,
compassionate. Didn't you hear them reflect on human philosophy and how quaint it was that we were challenging our place in the universe and the way we think about it? I'll send you the Notebook LM podcast on that. It was very
no,
interesting.
that's fine. But here's the best part about all that. I'm with the Illuminati and the lizard people. And no, we're
They
the ones
won't be
creating
compassionate.
it. Yeah, there's no compassion here, kids. Let me just explain how this works. Yeah. You're all doomed. I just thought I'd let you know. All right. Well, here's an interesting article from the FT, and then we'll
Well,
let David
sorry,
do his
just
thing.
just
Yeah, go ahead.
interrupt you, Stevie, because I wasn't quite sure if that was the chat
Oh
amplify
yeah.
was a win or a lose, really.
Wow. Well, it's definitely a win for OpenAI. I don't know if it's
A
a
lose
win
for
for
the
the US
world,
government,
baby.
but we'll
It's a
see.
lose for the world.
Okay.
We're all going to die.
Right.
I'd give it a win. I'd give it a win. Give it a win.
Oh, I was going to give it a lose because we're all going to die. Look, we're
Oh,
celebrating.
there you go.
There's
Fireworks.
There was an article today in the Financial Times. Hedge fund Elliott warns White House is inflating crypto bubble that could wreak havoc on what's going on. And I tend to agree that we have a little bump. Part of it's because Trump made like $80 billion.
A little one. This is
Trump-
massive.
Trump made $84 billion the day he became president on his ownership of Trump Media. Trump Media now has a crypto exchange, or they're trying to buy a crypto exchange. They also are now going to get into the financial services area with crypto with Schwab. And Schwab's granddaughter is now part of the Secretary of the Treasury in that department. So it's very nice. But to his point in the article, if you read it, he says, it's great that we want to do these digital currencies and digital algorithms and yada, yada. He says, at some point, though, you're going to weaken the greenback. If you weaken the greenback, then what happens? So I thought it was an interesting way to look at it, as everyone's like, Trump's becoming richer and richer and richer. And what is he becoming richer with? Greenback. At some point, it could implode where it just all kind of goes to what. So the bubble, they're saying there's a big bubble in the crypto market, which we've always said. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think there are good deals out there in the crypto market, in the crypto space, whether it's acquiring a company in different acquisitions. I'm not a big fan of let's go buy the crypto in kind of like a fund. But I think there's good acquisitions out there if you find the right one, but you find not the one that's a today one. But you have to look and go, you know what? 12, 18, 24, 36 months down the road, this is the good acquisition because it has legs. It's got a foundation, not because Donald Trump is saying this is what we're going to go do, and it's just inflating the prices of everything. So I think in that respect, it's good. I do heed his warning. I agree with him 100%. I think we need to take a look at how this is going to play out, because if the greenback goes, it's either going to be the RMB or the BRICS, and that's not going to fare good for America as a whole economically.
All right, big loss there.
Yeah.
Big potential loss there.
Yeah.
So.
Even if the ETF from BlackRock crypto ETF was the best selling ETF.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that doesn't say much
What part
anymore.
of people are stupid didn't you get the last time? Now they're going to have 24-hour trading. I was just reading another article that said 24-hour trading, like Robinhood and all these things. There's there's pre and post trading, and there was a whole graph about it. And now what's happening is people are starting to trade 24 hours a day because you have apps like Robinhood and whatnot.
Oh, you can just trade on all the markets.
You could trade 24/7 on futures, on this, on that, and blah blah. And I'm like, wow. So
that's not going to end poorly.
Yeah, no, it's not going to. That's it. That's
it's like 24-hour gambling. 24-hour gambling is the same thing.
But one of the couple of the people in the article were like, professional financial managers. I'm not saying they know more than us, but they're going to go. So nobody's going to sleep. He said. So now what's going to have to happen is if we're a hedge fund or we're this or we're that, how you come in at 4 or 5 in the morning, you leave at 6 or 7 at night, and then you have the weekend. Now what's going to have to happen is you're going to have a team that's going to have to come in at say 6 in the morning till 6 at night. Then you're going to have a team at 6 at night till 6 in the morning. And then you're going to have teams that overlap the weekends, because in theory, you will not be allowed to sleep because somebody can get a bug up their ass, like the guy that did with Movie Stop or Blog, the meme with that sent that movie stock crazy. So someone gets a bug up their ass or gets on YouTube and says, I'm buying this. And all of a sudden everybody's either buying it or shorting it. And if somebody's sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning, wherever, you're out.
Yeah, I know.
So now
I
you're
know.
literally going to have to have people.
I know the
24/7.
answer. I know the answer to this one.
Yeah.
Because you guys are now all best friends with Colombia, so there'll be a lot more coke coming in. So everybody can be doing lots of lines of coke, and they'll still need to sleep.
And just so you know, on that, no tariff.
No tariff.
Yeah. No tariff on the cocaine. Yeah.
And no VAT.
Yeah, no VAT, no tariff. Yeah, so that's free for the asking. They're going to have it now when you walk in. There you go.
There we go. Lots of that.
What do you got for us?
What do you have for us?
Well, the thing is, guys, that I've been on my holes, and I've been on my holes, and I've been sort of knocking around with all these young people, and they seem to
people
be
in their 30s.
Yeah, exactly. So there seems to be an enormous resurgence of people wanting to go back to very basic computer games, and there's in fact one of the people that we know just spent like 40 odd euros on buying a big bag of all these games from the 1990s, and it was as if he'd won the lottery. So as much as all this new stuff's coming out, everybody loves all the new stuff. So I thought I'd found this, and I thought, well, this would be really quite fun, because this is my lost. My found. I think it's this is
there we go.
The Analog 3D is a modern reimaging of the Nintendo 64 console designed to play original N64 cartridges, enhance performance and connectivity. The key feature is its 4K HDMI. It's compatible, supports any N64 game. That, my friend, is a found dollar. That's a beautiful.
It's region free. You can play games from any Nintendo 64 games from around the world.
And there's this huge resurgence of, and these are all kids who probably have seen it, or their older brothers and sisters. I mean, the original Nintendo 64 was 1996 or something.
It's a huge pound, huge pound.
Yeah, and this is, I think, going to be in the US. I don't know what the price will be in Europe. Priced in the US, I think, is $250. We're not being sponsored by them. I just put the link up there because I thought it was interesting. I don't have any skin in this particular game, but it was interesting to hear lots of younger people saying how excited they were about playing these old Nintendo 64 games.
Yeah,
can I tell you, when you play with young girls, they say the same thing. They say it's so fun to play with these older people. Yeah, it's I totally understand it. Yeah. No, but that's very cool.
Do they call you Nintendo, or just they
call me Nintendo now? They tell me Nintendo 64, and it goes like, I want to play. No. Anyway, I thought that's very cool. I like the old games. They're pretty cool. So and and young kids play them now today too. It's like, you played this? It's like when you see
they were good because they were good games. Something has happened where gaming has declined.
Remember Pong? You used to play Pong. Well, there's a place we go to every now and then, and there's a Pong there, and you see people lining up to, like, they put the quarter down to play Pong, and meanwhile you got all this other stuff in the phone, and that they want to play Pong. It's a simpler time. It's we had guys standing on last week, and he sends his regards to everybody, except David. But anyway, I was like, and I said to the guy, we were talking about this. This is his book. I'll plug it again. But we were talking about, this is a simpler time. Like when I smoke my cigar, I go with my book and my scotch and my cigar, and for an hour or two, nothing. It's kind of like that Nintendo 64. It's kind of like I can just play that with no distraction. And I think that's what people want to get back to.
Let me tell you something, guys. Just before I came on, I watched somebody literally within 30 seconds using DeepSeek.
Yeah.
He actually asked it to write a Space Invaders game for him, and it built the code and put it into it and worked into a working HTML version within less than a minute.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So,
We're transferring over to
the
DeepSeek.
future is now.
so-
There you go.
well, the future was yesterday, by the sound of it.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
The future is yesterday. Back to the future. Guys,
Well
this
done,
has been a
gentlemen.
blast. Now, before we leave, Michael, next week we have
Patriotic millionaire. We have a
What do
patriotic
they do?
millionaire,
Like, what
Morris
do they
Pearl.
do? They want you to give money to the Illuminati and rich people because they want them to take over the world.
Yeah, well, they're thinking. I mean, this is the eternal fight between rich and richer,
Okay.
and this is rich people saying that the richest are too rich, and they should share the wealth. They should redistribute a little bit, and I want to see what Morris Pearl, who I met years ago during COVID, I want to
Okay.
see how his thinking has evolved in a world that has gotten even more lopsided than it was 4 years
Back
ago.
then, yeah. So this will be interesting. So he's seen the show, right? He knows what's coming down the pike.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Morris, we're very excited that you're a landsman, but I'm just saying, the gloves are coming off. Then if you're
We'll
going to
see
talk
how
about
it
giving up
goes.
my money, so
That's
yeah.
right.
But I mean, all right, very cool. I'm excited. And then we have everybody's favorite in 2 weeks on Valentine's
Michael
Day.
Collins on
We
Valentine's
got the
Day.
one and only Michael Collins will be here.
Talking about corporate piracy, the
That'll be
eternal game of cat and mouse.
Oh, are we gonna have a cat and a mouse too?
I mean, we might. Chinese.
Yeah.
It'll be a Chinese mouse and an American cat.
That'll be cool. Well,
Oh,
I know
that's
Michael
cool.
loves the maybe John will be back by then, but I know Michael loves the Chinese, so this should
Oh,
be
yeah.
this will be an interesting show. So it'll be fun. Gentlemen, it's always good to see you. To all the fans that watched live, thank you very much. And for
Thank
all
you
the
very
people
much.
that are watching it re-recorded, you can watch us live every Friday. Times vary depending on who our guest is, but you can always see us here every Saturday morning, 6 a.m. EST. So for you people that don't know what that means 6 a.m. New York time. The show comes out live. And there you go. And wherever you get your podcasts, look for Two Old Farts Making Noises, and then look for Lost Dollar Business Club, and you can catch us there. Don't forget our sponsors. And that's it, kids. Other than that, we're good to go.
Like and subscribe. Great to see you guys.
Like and subscribe.
Cheers, everybody.